Hello, hello, my friends. Happy Monday to you. It is April 14th, 2025. We've got a great show for you today, but I'm wondering if there are any imposters in the room. That's the question. My co host Brittany Floyd is here today as well. We've got lots to talk about, so join us now for an all new episode of Project Joy Live. Let's do it. Hello, 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 everybody. Good morning and happy Monday to you. I'm Jessica Dugas, your host for today's episode of Project Joy Live. It's your triple shot of good vibes every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at this 9 a.m. Eastern time hour. I hope you are doing well today. I am very tired today. Tired. I had a busy weekend and I think I think I shared, but I'm not positive that I had gone and had my CPAP settings adjusted. So I'm like re- trying to make friends again with my with my CPAP. It's a fun time, and I also realized that I have reached a new level of I'm getting old because my cousin and I were sitting at the table comparing the marks that our CPAP masks leave on our face at different places, and I was like, I have reached a new level of oldness. I feel like in that. But I had a really good weekend. Went to Mohegan Sun a couple of times actually, but went to go hear the band Switchfoot, which I was really excited about, and because the couple of songs that became really popular on the radio, they just had a really positive message. And but outside of those couple of songs, I had heard a couple other songs, but not really like I don't know their whole catalog, right? And so I have been really enjoying concerts like that where I don't necessarily know every person or every word because it gives me the opportunity to get to know new music. But you just never know when a couple songs come out and they have a certain vibe. You don't know if every song is like that. You don't know if that's just how they are or if it's you just happen to be the couple songs that were popular. You just don't know. And so but every song that Switchfoot has is so positive and uplifting and inspiring. Some of them are very emotional lyrics, but every song is so good. And the lead singer is such a crowd worker. He not only came out into the crowd in the front, he walked all the way up into the stands interacting with people. And then there were a couple people in the audience that had signs, and one of them was a couple that had just gotten married, and it had said on their sign that there was one song that they have that was their wedding song, and they just got married, and they said, "Can you play it?" Well, he not only played it, but he had the couple come on stage and dance to it, which was so cute. I'm out here like just crying in the audience, and but it was so cute. And then another teenager had a sign about one of the songs, and they let him come up on the stage and play guitar with them. He's like, I've been practicing for a month to get this right. Can I play with you guys? And so they did. They let him on stage to play, and he was great. He was great, and everybody was just so, kind and caring. And it, I have, we all kind of have those. I don't know how to refer to them. Those songs that maybe are not necessarily the vibe of, of who we want to be. We all have those ones that we listen to. Right. Like when I'm really riled up, I will often listen to Rage Against the Machine, but that's not necessarily the vibe I want to be in all the time. But this this just proves that you don't need that. Just don't need that stuff. And I had a couple of really strong moments over this last weekend where I thought to myself, um I really am so different now in how I process things than what I used to be. And the things that I appreciate now, um going to bed early. I appreciate that. I appreciate the good vibe lyrics to songs. I don't know. I just This weekend was really a weekend for me where I felt like I've shifted into a new space, a new timeline, a new mind. I don't know. I don't know. Something shifted in me over the weekend. So, but it was good. That was such a great show. And then I had spent some time with my cousin up at the casino that night as well because it was so busy. Mohegan Sun had like a tattoo event going on, and they had a cheer competition. So there's like these little tiny girls in tiny outfits and way too much makeup running all around the casino everywhere. And so there was nowhere to eat. They were turning people away at every single restaurant. So we sat on the bench, and I messaged my cousin. I'm like, we're going to come in and see you. So we went and did that. And listened to a comedian who was really great, and spent some time with my cousin, which was nice. So got to do that. And then yesterday, my girls had their first dance performance of the spring, which was nice as a performance style as opposed to the flash mobs that they've been doing. And so they did really good, but it was cold yesterday, boys and girls. It was freezing outside, and it was misty because it had just rained. And so when you get that salty sea air and the wind blowing and it's cold, that like mistiness kind of feels like ice hitting your face, and it's not a fun time. And but they did really good regardless. We just had to kind of get in there and out because some of you might remember that one of my daughters is allergic to the to the cold, which yes is a real thing. And so we had to get her out of there. So we ended up going to eat again, taking them to eat afterwards, to celebrate their performance. So we did that. I just realized I didn't shut off my cool down from my workout. I've apparently been cooling down for the last 90 minutes. Anyway, we went to eat, and then the girls, we just walked around a little bit, and there were still all those cheerleaders all over the place. We were lucky we got a place to eat. But anyway, it was a good weekend. Good weekend, good vibes, good music, good family time. And so I just appreciate the flow of the weekend. I appreciate the calmness, the quiet, and all that. Well, as much quiet as there can be and all that nonsense, but it's still quieter nonetheless. Let's get into our joy conversation today, and then we'll get Brittany on the show. Here we go. All right, our joy conversation is joy meets conversation. I hope you'll chime in. Let me know where you're joining from, what's bringing you joy today. And today's joy conversation is, if you could invent any tool to make your life better, what would it be? If you could invent any tool to make your life better, what would it be? That's the question. I had an answer immediately, and that would be some magical button that I could just click the button and my whole house would be clean. And you know what's interesting? When I've said this answer to people before, because you always get in those hypothetical questions people will post on Facebook, like, would you rather have, $1 million, a trip to wherever, or your house clean all the time? I always go for that because I feel like if everything was taken care of, I could just have more time to spend on the things that I want to spend. And people have been quick to say to me in the past, well, you have kids, and yes, they all have their chores and their way they contribute, but they're also, all of my kids are very airy and similar to me, where they always have something else going on in their mind, something else they want to do, something else they want to create. And so I want to see them be able to lean into that too. But those damn dishes, they just keep happening no matter what we do. And so that's what I would do. I would have some kind of tool that you could just push a button and the house is clean, and that's it. Um, and so yeah, that's what I would go with. Let's get Brittany on the show, everybody. She's a creative genius, everybody. She is a spiritual artist. She's my bestie. She's the illustrator for the upcoming book, There Will Be Hugs. Without further ado, everybody, please welcome Brittany Floyd to the show. Did I push the right button this time? Damn.
Yes.
Now I have some major anxiety from that now. Like, every time I push a button now, I have this like super quick moment of, did I push the right thing?
Oh,
And I'm over here freaking out. How are you today, Miss Brittany?
I'm healing. I'm gonna say that. I've been experiencing a cold, and as you can see, my nose is a little bit red. I got a little bit of cold sore here. So anytime that you see me muting myself, it's because I'm
Yeah.
coughing or blowing my nose. But I'm healing. Other than that, I'm feeling pretty great.
Good. Yeah, we all had stuff going around in our house this year. But it was different than what it normally is. Everybody got something. And I say something because it doesn't seem like it was the same thing. It
Yeah.
felt like everybody had something completely different. Everybody had completely different symptoms, completely different energy levels. And, on paper, you could be like, oh, well, you're all different people. So, of course, you're going to process it differently. But that's not the way it usually happens. Usually we have something similar and all at the same time. This was like somebody was sick for like a week and a half, and then nobody had anything for like a day, and then somebody else got it. And then maybe there was a little over. It's been weird. It's been
It
very
is
strange
weird.
this year.
It's been weird for me too, because usually I don't get sick unless one of the kids bring home something from, being out in public school, all the kids and germs and stuff. And and none of my kids have been sick.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where did this come from?
Yeah.
Because no one else in my house is sick, just me. And it
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I mean, look, I have some theories about things, and we'll get it because it's going to tie into our conversation today. I have some theories about stuff when it comes to our physical health, and I tapped into this a little bit on Friday's episode when I was talking about um the finding your ikigai, your purpose, your reason for being. And so we'll get into that in a little bit. But chime in on today's question. If you can invent any tool to help make your life better, what would it be?
I'm definitely going to clone myself. Definitely. So that I can have the house clean, or I can have someone have another me making social media posts and another me. I just want to do all the fun stuff. I just want to paint and chill and watch TV while all the rest of me's do everything else.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I think, okay, maybe I need another me. But then I am so type A. Me and my clone would be at odds all the time. We would be like, no, I will do it. No, I will do it. Like, it would be bad. It would be a bad situation. Joanne's out there and she said, I would want something that would do all of my errands so I could spend time doing things that feel more productive. I mean, there isn't enough of anybody to go around. Um, but it's an interesting thing because uh, I think the majority of us have an answer similar. And what I mean by that is whether it's something to clone yourself, somebody to run your errands, someone to clean your house, whatever those things are, i- it's there. I feel like they're all answers as a means to like, how can we do more of the things that light us up, that bring us the most joy.
Yeah,
And so I think we all have similar answers to those questions, which are interesting for sure. All
definitely.
right. And what do you think anybody in your house would also pick that? Would they appreciate you cloning yourself?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
I know mine would appreciate not having to do any dishes or take the trash
Yes,
out, or
yes, exactly. I
they
I
would.
don't have to clean that up after I just made that mess.
Yep. Yep. That's what they
Yeah.
would. They would do that. All right. So listen, today we're going to talk about imposter syndrome. And we're going to talk. I have a bunch of questions we could go through and things like that. If you've ever heard of imposter syndrome, raise your hand. If you feel like you have imposter syndrome, that's something you deal with, put a heart down in the comments. So raise your hand if you've heard of it and put a heart if you feel like that's something that you experience. Okay, we're going to take a super quick break. And when we come back, we're going to dive into it. Here we go. Welcome back to Project Joy Live. Please visit our virtual community at the breakthroughshownetwork.club. We have all kinds of events happening in there and just hanging out and in general a good time. So we invite you to go check that out. We're talking about today imposter syndrome, and is it possible to have some joy while we're experiencing that? I have a feeling most of you already know what my answer is going to be to that particular question, but I want to kind of go down the rabbit hole a little bit. So, I have some questions that can help us determine if we're experiencing imposter syndrome. Okay, Brittany,
Okay.
we're gonna go through these questions. Number one, do I often feel like I've just quote gotten lucky when I succeed? I don't think that one holds true for me. Because I think I feel like I maybe would have felt that when I was younger, but for this one, um, I recognize the amount of work and time and effort that I put in things, and I really don't think I'm in a place where I believe in luck anymore. And so that one's a no for me. Do you feel like it's yes for you?
Yeah, in some situations now, like I felt like I've been like felt lucky. It doesn't apply to everything though,
Mm,
like that I've gone through, that I've
no.
experienced. Just a few things,
I
and
mean, I'm
maybe
sure. Go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
No, I'm just saying I'm sure that I have those feelings of luck when I'm sitting at the slot machine or something like that. Like I
Yeah,
don't
that
clearly I didn't put in much effort other than hitting the button or pulling the thing.
right. I think also like like you said, when you know and you recognize the amount of work that you've put into something and that you've done
Yeah,
something, then I think for me, that's when that feeling of not good feeling good enough. That's
right.
where that sets in for me. Not so much the luck part, but that not feeling good enough
Right,
sets in
right.
for me.
Um, Rhonda was saying, by the way, that she suffers from it. I don't know if I like that word suffer, Rhonda, but we're gonna let it ride for a minute. And then she said, counting your blessings is different than feeling lucky. I think so. I think where we talk about luck in this instance, it's more about like thinking about something just happened. It's not necessary. I'm trying to think of the figure of or the part of speech right now and it's not coming to me, but luck, having luck for something to happen is different than the gratitude of feeling like, oh, I'm so lucky, like using lucky as a replacement for blessed or grateful, or something like that. I do feel like those are two different things.
Yeah.
All right, number 2, do I downplay or dismiss my achievements even when others celebrate them?
I'm just gonna look this way.
Don't look at me. Don't look at me. I'm horrible with this. This is a I can't like,
Yeah.
and it's wild to me because thinking about this in question number 1, when we're talking about feeling like I'm lucky, and I'm clearly like, no, I see the time and effort and energy that I put in everything. I don't feel like that's luck. I feel like it's hard work that does it, right? But then I get to number 2, and someone could walk in the room and go, Jessica, I recognize how much time, energy, and effort you put into this. And I'm like, nah.
Like you, I do the same thing. Or like I'll be like, oh, I get shy in those moments too.
Yeah.
Um I find myself feeling very, very awkward, and it doesn't it doesn't feel right
Yeah.
because I don't
Yeah.
feel that way. So
Yeah, I mean, I think it's worse for me in instances where someone is pointing out the like something mundane or something that's just part of my life that I do. I'm better about this question if, like, let's say I did an event, and an event, there's so many parts of things to go into, and if somebody came up to me and said, "Man, that was such a great event. I loved it. But you did such a great job." I would receive that. I would be like, "Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I did put in a lot of effort." But when it's things like people are like, when they hear I have 6 kids and they go, "Oh, I take my hat off to you because I can't even handle the one I have," or blah 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 blah. Those things, I'm just like, it's it's just every day. Like, I appreciate you, but it's that's my life. It's not, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's harder for me to receive in certain things.
yeah, I mean that makes sense. But it is amazing that you have 6 kids and that you've managed to handle all that. And maybe saying it out loud to yourself,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I don't
doing
know.
that.
I think so the question, like, do I downplay or dismiss my achievements? I think in order to not downplay or dismiss them, we have to see them as an achievement in order
Mm,
to get
yeah.
there. So if we
Okay.
don't see something as an achievement, then anybody coming in saying, "Oh, I'm proud of your achievement," if we don't see it as an achievement, then we're not going to process it, in that way.
Yeah,
Um
that makes perfect sense.
so number 3, am I afraid someone will find out I'm not as good or knowledgeable as they think I am? Am I afraid someone will find out I'm not as good or knowledgeable as they think I am?
I think that differs for me. It doesn't really set it in with me that much. Um, but I will say if I'm in a room full of people, um, that maybe sometimes I don't feel like I'm qualified,
Mm,
even as an artist or, a healer or the knowledge, whatever that I do have that feeling a little bit, but it's not I can't relate to it as much as the second one, especially.
right. Well, the number 4 is, do I feel like I don't belong in rooms where others see me as qualified or talented? So that sort of is ties into what you're saying too. I think they both go together a little bit. And I can tell you that I had that experience when I was on that panel last Thursday. Because see, I set myself up to be anxious. What I should not have done was gone and look into the other people that were going to be on the panel before being on the panel. I shouldn't have done that.
Mm.
Um, though I feel like maybe I prepared myself a little bit because they all introduced themselves and their accolades anyway. But um if I'm on a really like I think about, okay, if I'm on a panel of 5 other really amazing, talented, accomplished women, I have this, well, who the hell invited me? Like
Yeah.
sort of sort of thinking, you know? And so it is hard for me because so much of what I do is from an experience perspective rather than a we'll go a street perspective as opposed to a book perspective.
Mhm.
That it's self education and experience as opposed to traditional you know, collegiate education type thing. um when like say I'm on a panel where I'm discussing um uh we'll take this as an example. We're discussing imposter syndrome, which is something that's talked about in the therapy world. I would be afraid to co-host this show with a therapist, with someone with
Right.
that degree, because I get into feeling like, you know, my experience or their degree trumps my experience, which ties into, so we don't even have time. We
I can relate to that deeply. Yeah.
yeah,
I can relate to that deeply. And
right.
just because someone is more qualified on paper,
Mhm.
that I like, it just has that. Yeah. It kind of makes me feel like if we talk about this, that, or, discuss things that I experience and that I go through, that, like, it makes me almost feel like I'm a fraud in a
Mhm.
sense.
Right.
Like, yeah. And then that goes down to downplaying my experiences and going down a whole another rabbit hole of spiraling of,
Right.
yeah.
100%. Frank's here this morning. Good morning, Frank. Good to see you.
Good
Do
morning.
you ever feel like an imposter, Frank? Let me know. Um, all right. Number 5 is, do I do I set extremely high standards for myself and feel like I failed if I don't meet them perfectly? Do I set extremely high standards for myself and feel like I failed if I don't meet them perfectly?
Yeah, that one really hits hard.
I It's interesting with this one. I feel like the first part for me, do I set extremely high standards for myself? 100%. A hundred
Yeah.
million percent. I don't necessarily feel, I may feel like I failed, but I think where the shift has come in for me in recent years is allowing that failure to mean something negative, to mean like it's a bad thing or I can't try again or whatever. I think that's where the shift has come in for me, but I do set really high standards for myself. And when Stacy was on the show and we were talking about setting ourselves up to fail purposely, I'm really
Mm.
good at that. I'm really, me and my subconscious, we may not speak the same language, but my subconscious knows when I don't want to do something, and I will set up myself the perfect storm to fail because I don't want to do it.
And also, you have that fear of failure, but you also have, I have a fear of success a little bit too. I
Yeah.
don't know
Yep.
about you, but like, to me, when I think about success, and is like, what if people, expect more out of me, or like, what if I can't live up to what if I can't live up to it, or what if that fear of success is very real for me too. So,
Right. Right. Yeah, I know that that's a big thing for a lot of people also. And there's many things that tie into that. If someone has a history that isn't um isn't who they are now or who they feel they are now, or maybe there was something that happened in the past, the idea of being successful and can mean that you're more in the spotlight, which means that your brain starts going, what if people find out those other things?
Yes.
Because we're in this society right now where I feel like people are not very forgiving. You see all the time in the world of celebrity where somebody's at the top of their game and then they say something or something gets dug up from their past and they're canceled and that's it. Like like their career ruined. So I'm sitting here going, of course, many of us have this anxiety of going into success because we're watching people left and right who do good things in the world. They screw up one time or someone finds out that they screwed up one time and they're done.
Yeah.
So I
And
almost
I
feel
think I
like that's
can, yeah.
warranted.
Yeah, and I can relate to that too because you know, me, who I am today was not who I was
Right.
5, 10 years ago. I was
Yeah.
even younger. I was wild. I was a wild child.
Yeah.
So I, there is that fear also that could come up and just wipe me clean from everything. And even though I'm not that same person. I've grown so much.
Right.
That's you hit the what is it? What is that saying?
The nail on the
You
head.
hit yeah, the nail on the head with that one.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, also like a lot, like you were talking about, it can like a lot of that stuff can be rooted in childhood experiences or past trauma, or really never being affirmed for who we really are.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah, and I mean look, that whole thing is a rabbit hole because then the question is if we're worried about what people think about our mistakes in the past or when we do something wrong, why? Why does it
yeah,
matter to us that it matters to them? And then who taught us that? I mean, it really it's a whole thing. So that's a tough one. Number 6, when I receive praise, do I feel uncomfortable or think I really didn't earn it?
I feel extremely uncomfortable at times.
Yeah.
I'm getting better at like receiving it, like, and telling myself like
Yeah.
you do deserve the recognition, you do, like you worked extremely hard, but there is times that it makes me feel extremely uncomfortable.
Right.
So,
Yeah. I think it's contextual for me, meaning what we were talking about before. If I receive praise for being a mom, and it's interesting because I've heard that phrase a lot more recently, like you're a good mom, like or you're doing the right thing or something like that. And I know that I need to work on receiving that a little bit more because I do struggle with that, but I think that I'm it's easier for me to receive when it comes with that stuff that I've what that I know I physically worked so hard on, whether it's coming out with a show or an event or a book or something like that. And then the question is, why am I only allowed to receive positive praise on things that I've worked myself to death over? I
but
mean, it's
can you, I mean, also in this sense, you worked yourself to death as being a mother.
right.
Look at all the things over the years that you've had to do and that you've had to overcome being a parent and being a mom. Um, uh,
Yeah. It's interesting with that. What
yeah,
I'm telling you people is that we have a lot this is a work in progress. I feel like conversation for
yeah.
many of us. It's not it's not an arrival for I don't think at all. The last question is, do I hesitate to pursue opportunities I deeply want to because I believe others are more deserving or more capable? Do I hesitate to pursue opportunities I deeply want because I believe others are more deserving or more capable?
I feel like maybe more capable for me, because I have a lot of doubt in my ability to create.
Mhm.
And my ideas. So for me, it's more, I don't, because I feel like I deserve it. you know what I mean? Like over the years, I've developed like feeling that I deserve it, but
Right.
I still also feel like there's more capable
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
me at least.
Interesting. I would love to hear from some of you guys out there. How do you feel about these questions? Do you feel that these questions point to you, you know, being challenged with imposter syndrome, or do you feel like that this clarifies for you that you don't struggle with that? Let me know. There's some questions that we can go through to sort of unpack and explore the experience. And these are deep journal style questions. They're not something that we're going to be able to unpack completely on this show today, but I do want to mention them because you can always come back and, pause the video, journal, talking to your, voice recorder, however you want to process the information. But I have 8 questions here. Number 1, where did I learn that I had to be perfect to be valuable? Where these I'm telling you, these are not ones we're gonna be able to answer on the show
Yeah,
today.
I'm not, and you're just gonna go through them, right?
Where did I learn number 1, where did I learn that I had to be perfect to be valuable? And you can actually replace the word perfect with any number of things. Where did I learn that I had to lose sleep in order to be valuable? Where did I learn that I had to work till I bleed to be valuable? Like, you could put anything in there. If perfect doesn't align with you, there's any number of things that you could replace that with. So that's an interesting one. Number 2, what am I oh Jesus. Okay, what am I afraid will happen if I fully own my success and my gifts? And that ties into what we were just talking about. What do I think will happen? What am I afraid will happen if I fully own my success and my gifts? And you know what's interesting about this one too is I have encouraged a lot of people in recent months, especially, to write down what you're afraid is going to happen in any certain situation. Because with the political climate and everything that's going on in the world, there's so much fear-based statements being thrown out there. And so my thing lately has been like, write down what you're afraid is going to happen. Write it down. And then you, you sort of give yourself, if it never happens, you can say to yourself, I should
Yeah.
probably stop fear mongering myself. And if it does happen, you can go, okay, how can I prepare myself better for this next time or whatever? But I like this idea of writing down, what am I afraid will happen if I fully own my success and my gifts? Um, Number 3, what would I do if I knew I couldn't be found out or judged? What would I do if I knew I couldn't be found out or judged? Some of us stop ourselves from even starting if we feel like they're going
Mm,
to judge me for this. So I'm just not going to do it. So that's a good
yeah.
one. Number 4, whose voice do I hear when I tell myself I'm not good enough? Whose voice do I hear when I tell myself I'm not good enough? And then, second part to that question, is that voice really mine? Where is it coming from? Is it yours? Does it belong to somebody else? Whose voice do you hear?
I'm definitely going to go back and watch this and write all these
Yeah.
questions down because these are some good ones.
They're
Very
good ones for sure. All
good ones.
right.
Yeah.
Um, Number 5, what version of success, in quotes, am I measuring myself against? And is it even my definition?
Ooh,
What version of success am I measuring myself against? And is it even my definition? I think that's a huge one.
yeah,
That's such a huge one because we often measure ourselves against, like, what people in our family do, what our parents said success was supposed to be, what if our siblings are in our mind more successful or less successful than us, our friends, what society tells us success is supposed to look like. So that's a 3-day mini series in
That's
itself.
a book within itself, just to
That's
be
it.
honest. Yeah.
That's it. Um, Number 6, when was the last time I felt joy in simply doing what I love? Now, see, when I heard that, I was like, "Oh, I joy all the time," right? But there's another part to this question. When was the last time I felt joy in simply doing what I love without questioning my worth?
Ooh.
Yeah, see, it was
Uh,
cute. It was cute
yeah, that
till it
was cute
wasn't.
at first. Yeah. Yeah.
It was cute till it wasn't anymore. Okay. When was the last time I felt joy in simply doing what I love without questioning my worth? Um,
Mm.
I'm just gonna just bypass that one. Number 7. How would it feel to believe that I'm exactly where I'm meant to be learning and growing?
That's a good one.
How would it feel to believe that I'm exactly where I'm meant to be learning and growing? Meaning like I think about being called out. Like, so what if you were called out? Like what's the real fear? What's the real fear about being called out? Is it that it doesn't make you feel good? Because it doesn't.
Right.
but
Right.
but what really is going to happen to you? Are you going to combust? Are you going to like burst into flames? Like, what's really going to happen if you're called out?
Yeah.
Like, what
I
if you're
mean,
supposed to? I mean, you're supposed to learn and grow. So if someone calls you out, you get to make another choice.
yeah. Mm.
Interesting. Number 8, what do I already know that I'm doing really well that I'm not giving myself enough credit for? And we all know after today that I'll be going to marinate on that. What do I already know I'm doing really well that I'm not giving myself enough credit for? I think this one is really interesting too, because in the entrepreneur world, we are not in a position as entrepreneurs where we have a boss or a manager or an owner or someone who's going, "Great job today, Jessica. You did so amazing. You worked so hard. You were productive. You hit this goal. You're doing great." And so I'm like, it really takes being intentional to give yourself credit for things that you're just has that have become like just everyday stuff,
Yeah.
you know.
Mm.
So it's
These
interesting.
questions are really good. I'm really, I'm probably gonna have like 20 pages of journaling after this. Just saying.
I know. I know. So listen, those are the 8 questions. You can go back and listen. I will also go back after the show and I'll put them in the show notes so you could just copy and paste or whatever as well. But definitely check out these questions because I think it's important. I want to go see what Joanne wrote really quickly here. If perfection to be valued isn't experienced in early childhood, I think school sets us up for it. Value becomes based on academic achievement and behavior. 100 and
Ooh.
million percent.
Mm-hmm.
100 million percent. And I mean, I could have a this is one of the reasons why we homeschool, but because I felt that too, and everybody is supposed to be held to the same standard regardless of what they might be good at, what they might have an interest in exploring, what their how many spoons they wake up with in the day, if y'all are familiar with the spoon theory. um there, everybody's expected to meet a certain to be at a certain level, but everybody's different. So it it's kind of it can't happen. It can't happen. I don't know. I don't know what else to say about that, but that's it. And there's so many side rabbit hole conversations with that particular. But thank you, Joanne, for pointing that out, because even if we are in a situation where, and this brings up the societal question, that we brought up before, even if we're in a situation with we're surrounding ourselves with people who lift us up, we've learned how to lift ourselves up, etc., you still have the societal, whether it's from the Department of Education or the
Mhm.
government or world expectations of how things are supposed to be, there that's still present whether we had that other support or not. So I would be curious to know, and I may look this up really quick on the break. I would be curious to know how many people are estimated to actually suffer or worry about imposter syndrome. I would be shocked if it was under 50%.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going with. I would be shocked. But let us know if you've had any new thoughts about imposter syndrome. If you feel like it's something that you've been challenged with throughout your life, you feel like you're good, you're groovy, you don't have that issue, let us know in the comments. We're going to take one more quick break and come back and do birthdays. We'll be right back after this.
Breakthroughs are about more than you might think. They're about discovering who you are, digging deep, reaching to the core of your soul. They're about healing yourself, understanding your beliefs, creating a ripple effect. And it's not just those initial moments that matter. It's about using them to bring more joy into our own lives and the lives of others. It's about having fun, letting loose, enjoying every moment life has to offer. It's about finding a safe space. It's about creating connection. Join us each and every day for exclusive programming, special events, and a community to call home, where we invite you to explore, change the way you look at and live your life, and go beyond the breakthrough. So we ask you, are you ready? We'll see you online at thebreakthroughshow.com.
Welcome back to Project Joy Live. Today is Monday. Happy New Week, everybody. April 14th, 2025. We're smack in the middle of April already. I'm going to keep my comments to myself about that.
Yeah. Right.
I'm saying. But we're so excited to thank you, Brittany, for it because this is a vulnerable conversation, and I appreciate you being open to share the conversation for all the people to enjoy.
This is new to me. So this is where growth expands. And I'm sure after the show, I'm going to go and sit with myself, but I'm going to try I'm trying not to get that voice in my head. I'm going to kick it out.
I'm gonna start using that phrase all the time. After this, I'm just gonna go sit with myself. I do want to tell you some numbers. I looked it up. So, and now I'm sure this has even changed more because this study was done in this was put out in 2011 from the International Journal of Behavioral Science. Up to 70% of people will experience imposter syndrome at least once in their lives. It affects people across all industry and levels of success. Notably, though, high achievers and perfectionists are more likely to experience it. Number 3, women and underrepresented groups like minorities experience proportionally experience imposter feelings due to systemic biases. There we talk about the societal thing and pressures to overperform. And in the workplace, 58% of employees surveyed in the United States said that they've experienced imposter syndrome at work. So it really does pose a question of what can people as leaders do to help with because 58, like more than half people in the workforce, like that's pretty significant for me. Like, and what kind of team environment can you have with your employees if in their subconscious they're going, I'm not as good as, Sally in the cubicle next to me or Joe down the hall, like what kind of team environment do you like? Is it just surface level? This brings up so many more questions that we don't have time for today. So
Yeah.
thanks for that. Let's do birthdays. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say real quick before we get to birthdays, I just want to take a moment to honor anyone watching who has ever felt like they've not enough, not ready, or not qualified. I want you to hear this. Just because the voice in your head is loud doesn't mean it's telling the truth. You don't have to be perfect to be powerful. You don't have to know it all to begin, and you don't have to do it alone. We're all work in progress. We're all growing, stretching, and becoming. And that uncomfortable feeling, that's not failure. That's expansion. That's your soul saying like this matters. So today, give yourself the hug that you've been waiting for and speak kindly to yourself. And remember, joy is not the absence of doubt, it's the choice to keep shining anyway. So
I love it. Let's do
thank you.
birthdays. Here we go.
Happy birthday to you.
All right. All right. Who has birthdays today? Let's see. All right. In the world of celebrity, Sarah Michelle Gellar, 48 years old today. I hope I need for her and her hubby, Freddie Prinze Jr., to come to 90s Con next year. I'm just going to say this out loud. I'm manifesting it. March. They announced the dates, by the way, of 90s Con 2026. It's going to be, I'm going to tell you right now, March 13, 14, 15. 13, 14, 15. Okay, in Hartford, Connecticut. Sarah Michelle Gellar and your hubby, I need you to be there. That's all. Actor Adrian Brody, 52 years old today. Actress Abigail Breslin, 29 years old today. Country singer Loretta Lynn, who passed away in 2022, had a birthday today. Rapper Debrat is 51 years old today, and actor Brad Garrett is 65 years old today. Happy birthday to all of you. In the celebrities in my life, Wes Buford, our old Pokemon friend from Alabama. Happy birthday, Wes. Nancy Louise has a birthday today. Happy birthday, Nancy. My cousin Nancy, Nancy Lynch, has a birthday today. And Jay Hunter has a birthday today. So happy birthday to all of you. Do you have any birthdays you're celebrating today, Brittany?
But here we go again. I did not prepare for this. So if it's your birthday and I hold you near to me, I'm so sorry, but happy birthday anyway.
There you go. Okay, we got all our birthdays. Here we go. Let's get our birthday song on. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sarah Michelle Gellar, Adrian Brody, Abigail Breslin, Loretta Lynn, Brad Garrett, Wes Buford, Nancy Louise, Nancy Lentz, and Jay Hunter. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to all those that are celebrating. I was trying to get myself together here, and I clicked on something wrong in my calendar. Now I don't know what's going on. This is not the right thing that I'm supposed to be clicking. Here we go. I've got it back up now. I'm sorry. All right. This week on the network, we have co-working happening today only, and then we do not have co-working the rest of the week because next weekend is Easter weekend. And so we have co-working today, though, coming up here in just a few minutes. You can visit the breakthroughshownetwork.club and click on our collaborative co-working space. We have Craft Circle with Miss Brittany coming up on Wednesday. From 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern time. Come and join Brittany. Bring your favorite craft, or just come and sit and think about 200 other crafts that you could start doing.
Yeah.
I love it. And then listen, we have Project Joy on Wednesday. I'm very excited. Ferran Dozier and Sharon Saraga Walters are going to be joining me on the show. We're going to talk about the feelings of the season. Sharon is Jewish, Ferran is Christian. I'm a mutt, so somewhere in between. and so we're going to have a really great conversation about what this time of year means to us across different faiths, and it's going to be a really beautiful conversation. So join us for that on Project Joy on Wednesday. And then in lieu of Project Joy, Brittany and I will be live on Friday to talk about something very special that's coming out the next day, everybody. On Saturday, April 19th, there will be hugs, will be live, and we would love for you to get your copy and share in this book. You can pre-order the digital copy right now or order the paperback on the 19th. So we hope that you will do that and join us in the There Will Be Hugs celebration.
Yes, please do.
It's gonna be great. What else is happening? I'm seeing Friday night. I'm gonna be seeing Miss Patti LaBelle. Miss Patti LaBelle, I'm gonna be seeing on Friday night. I'm very excited.
I'm so jealous.
Very excited about that. And all I can hear in my head is the song Ladies Night that came out with Missy Elliott and Lil' Kim and all that back in the day. And there's this part where Missy Elliott goes, "What do I look like, Patti LaBelle or somebody?" And that's all I can ever get in my head. I don't know what it is. But it's gonna be good. We got a great week. Go plug into the Breakthrough Show Network calendar, which you can find at thebreakthroughshownetwork.com or .club. Any final words that I think you said your final words already, Brittany, but any
I do have one more thing. Imposter syndrome may knock, but joy always opens the door.
There it is. There it is. So as we wrap up today's conversation, I want to speak directly to the part of you that sometimes wonders if you are not good enough. The part that whispers, "Who am I to do this?" Here's the truth. You are not an imposter. I promise. You're a human being in process. You're someone brave enough to say yes to growth, to learning, to stretching to new spaces. Imposter syndrome tries to convince us that we have to already be everything in order to become anything, which just doesn't make the sense, okay? But joy, real joy, reminds us that we are allowed to be works in progress. We are allowed to show up messy, unsure, and still worthy. You don't have to silence the doubts to move forward. You just have to be louder than them with your truth. And your truth is you are enough. You are growing and you are meant to be here. So today, take one step, celebrate one win, speak one truth, and know that joy isn't just waiting at the finish line. It is walking beside you the whole way. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Jessica Dugas. This is Miss Brittany Floyd, and we will see you guys next time. Please remember that you are the joy. I'll see you on Wednesday, everybody. Bye-bye.